Hi, this is Sue. Welcome to Fixing Your Charts Up. I'm looking at this chart of Thinkorswim. This is the default setting that comes with your chart package, and I haven't seen this in a long time. Wow. So let's get right to it. I'm using Thinkorswim. It doesn't matter what package you use. You should be able to have most of this functionality. Okay, that just might be under different tabs, but most of it will appear under Style or Settings, and that's where we're headed here. Obviously, I don't like the way this chart looks. I can't read the edge over here very easily, especially if I had lines over here, and all of this is just too much for me. These are called rollover lines. They're the monthly rollover lines. This is the yearly rollover line. Let's go do it. Under Style, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to Chart Type, and I'm going to set it for Candle. I want you to notice that there are multiple types of charts. You can do a bar chart, which is what it was. You can do a candle trend, Heikin-Ashi. Those are both trending candles. They're slightly different. You'd have to research to find out what the differentiation is or ask your platform provider. Some have a candle trend that is proprietary to the platform, and then there's a Heikin-Ashi, which is more of a universally accepted methodology. There's a line chart, and you'll see what happens when you do the Heikin-Ashi. They all go red and green, and there's your trends. They just change trend with the candle. You don't really get much detail. It's fine for swing trading. It makes day trading very dangerous. I'll just let you know that right from the start. So let's keep going. Style. Back to Style, Settings. This is where most of the work will take place, and I'm going to go through it fairly quickly because I'll read them out loud to you, knowing that the reproduction here might not be perfect. First tab, General. I like to have certain things checked and unchecked, and what we'll do as we go down through these is I'm just going to very quickly tell you how I have mine set. What I'd like you all to do is be responsible for going in and checking out some of this stuff, because you might prefer things slightly differently than I do. Okay, and that's all right. There's no perfect way. There's no right or wrong. This is just so your charts will look like mine, if you want them to. So, show orders, yes, leave it checked. Show alerts, yes, leave it just the way it is. Show studies, absolutely. Highlight studies on hover, yes. Sometimes I get moving average lines that go behind candles layered, and I lose track of the line. I like this feature that allows you to hover over the line. Okay? Under the top half on the right, I take all of this off. And let me show you what these are. I will show the symbol, the logo symbol. But I don't like these bubbles. I don't need to know what the high is and what the low is. I'm not really looking that way. I'm using crosshairs and horizontal and vertical reads, so the numbers mean less to me. And as I slide my crosshair up here, once I set it up, I'll be able to see over here in the bar what that bubble is, because I've taken all the other bubbles away. It's like I just want the one bubble. So down under this area, I will do this box and this box, behind drawings and behind crosshairs. In Thinkorswim, if you check the front box, it becomes a default. If you check the back box, it becomes an option in the drop-down style box that you can click on and off very quickly. Make sense? You can click both if you want, the front box and the back box, but I like having the option of turning these on and off very quickly from that drop-down. The time area, local time is Pacific, Los Angeles. I'm in Orange County. Show price in the subgraph. As far as layout goes, yes, I must overlap volume. That's how I get volume up here on this upper chart later on. It will pop up here behind price. Okay, data box, all of this is fine. Data box off, auto hide on, and my tools off. I'm keeping these charts very, very streamlined and very clean. And you, again, go play with those and you can see what they do. The price axis. Well, I want fit studies and fit study markers. Okay? I don't want any expansions. I don't want scales. I will show bubbles as a percentage here if I check on show price as percentage. I just leave that when checked. It's come in handy occasionally where I don't have to go deal with it. And then enable left axis, absolutely. That's the other thing that I really like, is to enable left axis in case I want to use it. All right? Now, time axis. And again, you can juggle these around. So you can set it up any way you want. I suggest you keep one once you get it set the way you want it, and then you can fool around with another one, and that way you won't lose your settings. And I'm going to show you how to do that. On the time axis, I want time, and then the interval, the aggregation period, and I don't need to keep the time zoom. I don't have that checked. Over here, this is where we're going to make our first big edit. Expansion area to the right side. I want 30 bars. Okay? I want that to happen both on options and on studies. So check both of those. I don't care about corporate actions. Okay? But these two are checked. And then down here, I don't want the rollover lines, the red lines that you're seeing on the chart. I don't want expiration Friday. I've been doing this a long time with options. You might want to leave that on. And I don't want the year end. I'm fully capable of doing that. Okay? Next, quick time frames. Well, if I wanted to add a chart or a time frame, this is where I would do it. I would just come up here to add time frame. I would select, well, let's take this one and delete it, and then we'll re-add it. You ready? Okay, so I deleted the monthly. Add time frame. The time, I like a 10-year monthly. Select. And then if this were like a 3-minute chart and I needed to move it up, you would just click up or click down. Make sense? Appearance. This is where we're going to make the big changes. I like the chart mode to be standard. I don't want monkey bars, expanded monkey bars. I don't want any of that stuff. Standard is fine. I've already selected candles. This is where you could reselect your candle. And I want all of this to fill up. I want my bars to be solid. That's just a personal preference. I like to watch them pulse. In other words, if I have a 15-minute and a 5-minute chart up side by side, I want to see the 15 pulsing as the 5 sets up. If for some reason I just like that, you might not. So I see it better if they're solid. I have my dojis white, just so they show up, and I have this box checked. I want to show my wicks and tails. I want all of this information. I've read candlesticks for too many years to give up that information. I want to know when a hammer is a hammer, not just look like that. That does not help me read the market, especially as a day trader. I want that look, so I know where price is being pushed. Okay? Under common, drop this down. I do not want the crosshairs to be mustard. I want the crosshairs to stand out and pop against that blue background. I want them to be white. Upper left-hand corner, and say OK. I do not want the grid at all. I deselect that. And I want my volume bars, these bright light blue bars back here, to be slightly darker. I want them to blend in more with my background. Okay? So I usually pick something 3 or 4 boxes up off the bottom in the blue. That's all. That's fine. It's a little darker. It's a little bit more subtle. All right? Next, equities. This is your stock read. I want to have corporate actions not defaulted. I want to be able to add them and take them off whenever I want. I do not want the CNBC stuff. I don't want to see options on that chart. Now you might change, you might want to, but I don't. You'll have to look at it and see if you do. I want extended hours as a default, and I want highlight extended hours as both. I don't want extended hours as a default. I want it as a selection box only. Highlight extended hours, I'm going to leave as a default so that if I pull up extended hours, it will automatically default to the lighter shade of gray. And then if I want to get rid of the color only, I can check it off. And I do want to start the aggregation at market open. I must have show volume on subgraph. Okay? And let's go to options. Since many of you will be trading options. Again, last, yes. Show open interest. I'm going to check that off and make that a selection. I do not want theoretical price to show unless I ask for it. So I'm going to put it in a selection box. I do want extended hours to show as a request. If I bring it up, I want it to default to the highlighted, the same as the other, and I want it as a box. So the same pattern. Unchecked at the front, checked in the back. Checked both front and back, and checked in the front. I must have show volume in the subgraph. Checked. And that is it, folks. That is your tour of setting up this clean chart. Give me 1 second to say okay, and this is what it looks like. There's your skyline in the background. That's what it looks like. There's your margin on the right side. Now, how do we get lines in? That function happens over here in the lower left. You'll see my nice crosshair. So now let's move over and let's get some lines, okay? This is your pointer right here. It's giving me an arrow. You see my cursor is an arrow in the center of that crosshair. If I highlight this and raise that up, what I'm getting is, let's start with the trend line. A trend line is any straight line. So I can be horizontal, I can be diagonal, and this is how we start to put these lines in. All right, see the difference? But they're all straight. Now, if I want to set them, if you want to set them the way I have them, they default to red in Thinkorswim. I do not like them red. There's too much red on this chart as it is. I have them hot pink, and I have it width is 2, not 1, it's 2. And I set that save as default down here in the lower right-hand corner. Okay? Now, if I wanted to, let's say, set up a channel, I can right mouse click on this line, and I can say duplicate it. And I get an active level there, and I can slide this up and have it sit right here. If I want to extend or expand the line, I double click on it, and I can extend it to the left. I can activate it, make it active, and I can swing it away. I can swing it this way. I can change it, elongate it. Okay, that is the functionality of the trend line. Now, let's take these off, right mouse click, and Thinkorswim gives you a remove all studies, and you can just take it away. Now, the other thing that I really like to use, and you've seen this occasionally, is this price line. I love this price line. Why? Because I can see an area of consolidation that might start over in this area. You see the little gap here? Do you see the candles in the gap? And if I draw a really thick line, and I were to go sideways with a price line, you don't have to drag it across. You just have to double click and it will extend. It has the same ability to activate it, move it up, move it down, reposition it, however you want to deal with it, move it to the left or to the right. And the beauty of the price line is it extends all the way out to the right. So forever now, this price line will be out there. And I like mine to be yellow. Okay, right mouse click, edit properties. I like them to be yellow, double thick, save as factory, as default. Now, why do I do that? Because once I put these on, they are permanent. They go all the way out to the right. I can see when I'm getting close to a massive area of support or resistance. I can see that this was a double top V-shaped configuration high. And I know that's what that line is telling me. All right? So this is how I use the lines and get them on. This is how I set them up. This is how I set up the chart. And this is the end of part A on chart setups.